Hello everyone, welcome to our course Azure Kubernetes Services or AKS Deep Dive, which covers in depth a deep dive for AKS and Kubernetes. This video is part of this course and will cover Demo 1, Lesson 3 in Module 2, which is working with Docker container on Linux. This video is part of Module 2, Understanding and Working with Docker. And this is where the video is located in the current module. So let's start working with Docker container on Linux. So this demo will cover, first we will get an overview about APT or package management for Linux Ubuntu. So we will understand in a very quick overview about package management. Then we will understand how to install Docker on Linux. After that, we will understand how to uninstall or remove Docker from the machine. Then examine the Docker Hub and navigate to several repos. So Docker Hub, as we explained in the previous lesson, is a Docker registry which has many images and repos. So we will navigate to the Docker Hub and examine many of the existing repos and images. And then after that, we will pull an image from Docker Hub. Then we will run a container as a process and as an interactive process. So we will see the difference between running a container in the background or running a container as an interactive mode, which means to be attached to the terminal. So I can write my command inside the container. After that, we will see how to stop and start a container, and then how to attach and detach from a running container, and then how to delete a container and the images permanently from the machine, and then how to create a new images after I made some changes in the running container. And then at the end, we will see some of the advanced commands for Docker. Before we start, let me give you a quick introduction about myself. My name is Mohammed Radwan. I'm a developer technologies MVP and principal DevOps consultant. I have been doing software development for more than 17 years now. Worked on several projects for different enterprise customers across different regions and countries. For more info about me, you can review Lesson 1 in Module 1. So let's navigate to open the terminal. And now let's type Docker. So as we can see, the Docker is not installed, and there is a suggestion to start installing Docker using APT. So what is APT before we start? APT is the package management for Linux Ubuntu, which means the tool that's responsible for installing application on Ubuntu. And the main idea here is just imagine that this is like the App Store tool that I can use to install several apps on the machines. And the first command I'm going to run, which is apt update, here to update the current package management with the latest addresses for different apps so I can install the Docker. So as we can see, I can't run the update because permission is denied. And this is because I didn't run as a sudo. So sudo is the super user do, which means that this is the administration privilege, or as you run a command as an admin mode in the Windows platform. So now I'm going to run sudo update for the apt. And as we can see now, the apt is updated, which means updating all the new addresses. Now it's complete. And then let's clear the screen and then using sudo apt install docker.io. So this command will install the Docker using the apt management. And here to confirm, after a couple of seconds, which just installing the Docker, then Docker is installed. Let's clear the screen. And here, if I type sudo docker, we can see that the Docker is installed and it displays all the switches for Docker. So let's now using apt remove Docker. So this is how I uninstall Docker. And here to confirm. And if I type here sudo docker again, we can see that it is not found, which means it's completely or successfully uninstalled. So let's install Docker again. will be the same process. Confirm the installation. Now it's complete. So the first command I will going to run is sudo docker to make sure that it installed successfully. And then I will run the command sudo docker version. And as we explained before in the previous lesson, this will display both versions, the client and the server. So let's start with docker info. And this will display several info about the current Docker. For example, as we can see here, how many containers I have either running or stopped, running container, pause the container, stop the container, and the images and several information as well. So let's here clear the screen. Then here I will type sudo docker images so I can understand what is the list of the images on the machine. And as we can see, I don't have any images. Or docker ps, which will display the current running container. So let's navigate to the Docker Hub or Docker public registry. So let's open Google and just type Docker Hub. So this is the first page. And just go to Explorer. And here I will search for Alpine, which is a repo. And as we can see this repo. And if I navigate to tags, I can see several images for this, this is the latest images, and several images for this repo. Of course, it is the same repo with several tags. Let's open another repo inside Docker Hub. Let me search for Ubuntu. And here, Ubuntu repo. The same, if I open tags, I can see several tags for this image. As we can see, we have several versions and tags. I will use some of them during the demo. Let's open another repo inside Docker Hub. And here I will search for nginx. It's a web server image. And the same as well, if I navigate for tags, I will have several tags. And as we can see, this is the command to pull the image for nginx, and here to pull the image for Ubuntu, and here to pull the image for Alpine. So let's navigate back to the terminal, and let's pull an image, docker pull, and then Alpine. So as we can see, if I didn't specify the image tag, so as we can see here, that Docker will specify the latest as the default tag if I don't specify which tag. And as we can see, this image has only one layer. So let's now, this is the single layer for this image, which pulled correctly. Let's look to another image in this repo for Alpine, which is 3.12. And let's pull this image. So let's display the current images by sudo docker images. So as we can see, we only have one image. Let's now pull the specifying image, which is sudo docker pull Alpine 3.12. So this will pull a specific image with this version. And now I pull the image. Let's display all the images with Docker images. So as we can see now, I have two images on this machine, which is Alpine latest and Alpine 3.12 as it displayed. So let's clear the screen and sudo docker pull Ubuntu. As we explained, this will pull the latest, which has 3 layers, as we can see. It will pull each layer. Now it completed, pull the image, And if I display all the images, we can see that I have now 3 images. So if I'm going to pull a specific Ubuntu image, let's say 14.04, this will pull also this image with 3 layers. Now, if I display the current images, we can see that now I have 4 images. So let's say sudo docker ps, this will display the current running container. And let's clear sudo docker run Ubuntu, this to run a container. And this will run the container in the background. And since there is no entry point for this container will run and stop immediately. So for example, if I type sudo docker bs, we can see that there is no running container. So if I type sudo docker bs-a, which is all running and stop the container, we can see that I have only one container which is stopped, as we can see 12 seconds ago. Let's run a container in interactive mode. To use this, I will use sudo docker run switch it or I switch t. And then here I will specify a name for my container, which is con1. And then here the repo name, Ubuntu. And here's a command I want to run as an entry point. So now, as we can see, now I am inside the container. So this container is interactive mode, which means that I am attached to the terminal. And now I am running the container and I am inside the container. So let's open another terminal. So now if I go for this terminal, type sudo docker ps, just type my password. And as we can see, I have a running container which run from 25 seconds. So if I type sudo docker ps-a, so we can see that I have 2 containers. One status is running and the previous one, which is the first container that stopped a minute ago. So let's now type inside the container. If I type exit, this will exit the container. So I am not only exit from inside the container, but since this is the entry point, this also will stop the container. So if I navigate here to see PS, we can see that there is no running container. And if I type A, which means all stop and running container, we can see that I have now 2 stop the container. Okay, so let's navigate here again. And here I will run another container, which is another name, contain1. And now if I navigate here to display, we can see that I have one running container which contain one. And to display all the container, either the running or the stopped, I can see that I have now 3 containers. One is running and 2 stop. So let's navigate here again. And here, as we explained in the previous lesson, Control P and Q, this is for detach from the interactive container. So this will not exit the container or will not stop the container. This is just to detach from the interactive container. So if I press that, now I just get out from the container. So let's see here the running container. So as we can see, contain2 is still running and I am not inside the container in the terminal one. So this is the contain2. So let's here navigate and sudo docker to attach to this container, which is contain2. So now I am attached again to the container. And let's display what is the current directories. And now I'm going to use nano, which is a simple editor, which is not exist on this system. So I'm going to update the package management for this container and then install nano on my container. So let's clear the screen and apt install nano. So this will install the nano on my container. Clear the screen. And now nano, let's say mrad1.txt. And I will just type here hello docker and Control X to save, type yes. And if I clear the screen, and let's display. So we can see here that my file mrad1.txt is become part of my container. So if I type nano mrad1.txt, we can see that the file is open with the content. So now let's not exit, but detach from the container. So now I am detached. And if I list here, this will be inside my machine, not the container. And as we can see, I don't have mrad1 as before. So if I type nano mrad1.txt, as we can see, I don't have it on my machine. So if I attach it again to container2, which include my file, and here I can see mrad1 exists, and if I open that with nano, I can see that I still have my file. So let's navigate here to clear the screen first, and then here sudo docker and stop container2. So as we can see, once I stop that, this will exit the container, and here I can display the current container. We can see there is no running container, and this is just the old container. So we just have 3 containers, all of them are stopped. So now if I say docker start and giving container2, now I started my container. So let's navigate to now here for PS. So only I have one container, which is container2, as we can see. And now if I navigate to terminal 1 to attach to the container, docker attach con2. Now I'm attached to the container, and I can see that I still have my file, which is mrad1.txt, which includes the hello docker. So as we can see now, I stopped the container, start the container again, and attach it to the container, and the container still has my file with the content inside the container. But remember, this container, there is no images included these changes. So now let's come here to terminal 2 and try to delete container 2. I can't delete the container 2 because container 2 is running, so I have to stop it first. Let's do that. Sudo docker and then ps. So this is for the running container. And here docker stop container 2. Now it's stopped. And then let's delete this container. PSA, this will display all the running and stop the container. And then delete the container docker rm con 1. This is for deleting container 1, and sudo docker ps. As we can see, I still have 2 containers. So sudo docker rm, and as we can see, this is the default name because the first container, when I run the first container, I didn't specify a name to this container. So this container created using the default name. So I will paste this name to delete this container from my machine. So now it's deleted. Let's display all the container. So only I have one remaining container, which is container 2. Then here I can start this container 2. Now it's started. Let's clear and sudo docker ps. So this is the running container, which is container 2. And here I will attach again to container 2. Now I'm inside the container. Let's see my file. Yes. So if I detach it again, and then here I will run just another container interactive, which is container 3, and also from Ubuntu with an entry point for pin bash. So I am now inside container 4, and if I run docker ps, we can see that I have 2 containers running, which is container 3 and container 2. So now if I type ls, this is for container. So as we can see, I don't have mrad1.txt in container 3. Why? Because this container created the Ubuntu image, which doesn't include the mrad1 file. and even doesn't include nano as an editor. So let's detach from the current container, and now let's attach to container 2, which include Emerald 1. And now I want to create an image from this container. So now let's do that. Sudo docker, and here I'm going to use images. This will display all the images. So as we can see, I have now 4 images, 2 Ubuntu and 2 Elpin. And now I'm going to say sudo docker commit. This will commit a new image. And here I will commit the image from the changes inside container 2, which including emerald1.txt. And I will name the image on the Ubuntu repo with tag rod1. So this will be my new image. So the image is created. Let's clear. So let's display the current images. So as we can see now, I have 5 images, including the new images, which is in the Ubuntu repository, and the tag is rod1. And as we can see, created 10 seconds ago. This is the new image, which including 1 layer. So let's now try to inspect this image. Docker inspect this image, which is Ubuntu rod1. So as we can see, this image has several layers, including the new layers. This all the information for this image. And we can see here, this is the 4 layers for this image, including the new layer. So if I inspect the Ubuntu image, we can see Ubuntu image has only 3 layers. But for Ubuntu rod1, it has 4 layers, as we can see. Okay, so let's now detach it from this. And now here, let's clear the screen. And now I'm going to sudo docker ps. We can see that I have 2 running container. And here sudo docker attach to container 3. So as we can see, I don't have the emerald1, or let's run a new container, which is container 4. And I will run this container from the new image I created. And this will be container 4. So now if I run the current container, we can see that I have now 3 containers, and the last container created, which is from 4 seconds ago, this container created from the new image, which is rod1, as we can see. So now if I navigate back to the current container, we can see that this container has nano and also has the file emerald1.txt, which include the content hello docker, which means that I managed to create a new image, and this image has the new changes, which is the new file. So every new container created from this image will include emerald1.txt. Okay, so let's now try to different thing. Now I'm going to display all the current running container. And then here I will use bs3, and this will display like task management for Windows. This will display all the running tree for the system. And as we can see here, we can see that there is 3 running container for Docker daemon. I can navigate to understand what is the running. Let's clear that. And here, sudo docker top container 2. This will display the running process inside the container. And as we can see in container 2, we have 2 processes. If I say, let's say container 3, we have also 3 process. Let's run a process or an app inside a container. Let's say nano emerald1.txt, and let's display top again for container 4. So as we can see now, container 4 has 3 process, and the last one, it include nano emerald1.txt. So top can display the running process in the container. So let's using here to stop a container 4. So as we can see, this will exit the container because now I stopped container 4. And now let's display the current container. So we can see that I have two running container. And to display all the container running and stopped, we have three containers. Two is running and one stopped. So if I use now ps-qa, this will just display the current container ID. So as we can see here, this is not displaying a table, but displaying a list of the container ID only for the running container. So here, if I type sudo docker ps, this is the running container, and docker ps stop. Here, this is to stop a container, but I can stop multiple container by giving an array. And in this case, I will type $sudo docker ps dash aq. So this will display all. This is just typo. So here I will just type here stop. So as we can see, this stops the three containers. So if I type here docker ps, we can see that all the running containers stopped. And here, if I display all the container, no, this is just typo. So here, if I say, we can see that I still have three containers on the machine, but I stopped all of them. So let's now delete all of them. So by using images, so as we can see, this is the current images. So now I'm using RMI, which will delete this image. So as you can see, I can't delete an image because this image is used in a running container. So let's now clear the screen. And now I will display the running container. So here I will delete the container. And as we can see now, since I have three containers, I want to delete all the containers. Either all the three containers, as we can see, are stopped. So I want to delete all of them. So here I will define an array, which is sudo docker ps dash a dash aq. So this will delete all the containers. So if I display sudo docker ps, as we can see, I don't have any running container. Docker ps-a all, I don't have running or stopped container. So I managed to delete all the container, either the running or the stopped container, but I still have the images. So if I display now sudo docker images, so if I type sudo docker rmi to delete the images, here Ubuntu, this will delete one image, which is Ubuntu. If I display the images, we can see now I have 4 images. I can also delete multiple images using the array sudo rmi, and instead of giving an image name, I will give an array with all images, and I will start by $, and here I will sudo docker images. So this will delete all the images from my machine. And now if I clear that and sudo docker images, as we can see, I don't have any images. Docker ps, I don't have running container. Docker psa, running or stopped, I don't have running or stopped container. At the end, I would like to thank you for watching this video. If you have any question or inquiry, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.